Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com back for another Pittsburgh Steelers analysis and another Pittsburgh Steelers win. They continue their undefeated season at 9-0 with a 36 to 10 just drubbing of the Bengals, really winning that one comfortably, not the second half cardiac kids that fans have gone through and myself has gone through these last couple of weeks. So let's talk about what happened for the big victory on Sunday. And for the losing track of the weeks at this point, I think fourth straight week the Steelers have relied on Ben in the passing game, and that's really been the only consistent source of success. But it has worked extremely well, and at least this week they weren't so obviously falling behind in the first half, then having to bust out the 0-1 for receiver sets, and then having to play catch up. The passing game was successful out of a lot of different formations. It was successful early and often, minus a slow start on the first two drives of the game. I think some of the weather might have calmed down a little bit too. Some of the wind wasn't quite as gusty, so that probably helped a little bit, especially with some of the vertical passing game. But overall, Ben just continues to carve up defenses. The Bengals were already coming into this one as a pretty below average to bad defensive unit. They had injuries coming into this game. They had more in-game injuries to cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, for example. So really, just a mismatch of personnel of some really talented receivers of Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Juju. You guys know the guys against some backups and third stringers and practice squatters, elevated type guys for the Bengals, and really kind of made life easy that way. But overall, Ben, I thought was efficient of making good decisions, of being able to pick apart zone, threading the needle against man coverage, and the receivers, of course, making big plays. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, their ability to separate is really impressive, especially for Claypool being a naturally bigger guy, not the quick twitch that Deontay Johnson is. At least you wouldn't think so, but Claypool really moves well. He's a nuanced route runner. I'll probably do a video on that later this week. For as much as we talk about Claypool's physical tools, the height, weight, speed, some of the just the nuance and change of direction ability and ability to change speeds and create space are some of the most impressive parts of his game. And just overall, Juju continues to get the tough, gritty yards, and James Washington making some plays as well. Ebron, can't forget about Eric Ebron and the job that he's done as well with some pretty impressive snags, a great one hand catch today. So just this bevy of weapons when you're facing a Bengals team that was shorthanded to begin with, they really didn't stand a chance. Now, again, the run game struggled, and I think part of that is the Bengals taking it away, but that can't be the excuse. It's been four straight weeks of this run game doing little to nothing, and so I don't have a good reason for why it's been as porous as it has been. They're averaging literally around 3 yards per carry the last 4 weeks. Maybe it's a little bit higher because they had a couple of garbage time runs with Benny Snell, but it's an all unit thing. It's the O line, it's James Conner. It can be play calling. Just nothing has been able to find its footing. And I mean, you had the 30th ranked defense in Dallas, couldn't run on those guys. You had the 32nd ranked run defense in the Bengals, couldn't run on those guys. Don't have a good reason for why they're struggling so much. But I will say, in regards to the offensive line, at least they're pass protecting well. And some of that has been getting the ball out of his hands so quickly. Some of the short passing game substitutes the run game, which is fine and smart to do. But just overall, I mean, Ben has not been sacked in his last 104 passing attempts. He's only been sacked twice over the last 4 games. Both of those came against Baltimore. So while the line is certainly struggling run blocking, and again, there's a lot of elements that are at play there, back, scheme, line, all of the above, and didn't have Anthony McFarland today, so he didn't have that element of potential speed to infuse into the run game. Not that I think it would have made a dramatic difference, but at least the line is doing what it's been built to do, which is pass protect. Pass protect. Now, again, does not excuse the lack of run blocking. You want them to run block, they got to do a better job. Short yardage has been poor. Derek Watt did not look good today, at least on offense, but overall, the offense was efficient enough with the pass game when the short pass game was really taking the place of a run game that went nowhere. Defensively, it was just a really solid game overall. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. Offenses, they're going to occasionally move the ball and get points, but I mean, it's hard to get better than an 0 for 13 performance for the Bengals offense on third down. I'll have to look up the stat of the last time the Steelers defense, or any defense for that matter, was that dominant. But I mean, Tomlin said it after the game, just winning possession downs. They were great on third down. Man coverage was really strong, played a lot more man in this game than I thought they might against Burrow, who's mobile. But I think maybe they sacrificed a little bit of pass rush at least early to kind of more muddle rush and allow them to play man and force some tight throws. And thought Joe Hayden was excellent today. Overall, did a good job of taking away Tyler Boyd, one of the top possession receivers, especially on third down in football. But yeah, I thought Hayden was excellent. Cam Sutton, third straight game with a forced fumble. I mean, who would have guessed Sutton to have three forced fumbles at all this season, let alone three straight games? The first Steelers DB to have three straight forced fumbles in three straight games since Lee Flowers in 2000. So there's a name for you. Not even Troy ever did it in his career. So just overall, you got pressure late. The run defense, I mean, it had its moments where it wasn't great. It could be better. I thought Robert Spillane maybe didn't have the best game getting off blocks and things like that. But overall, you can't be mad at a performance, only allowing 10 points against the Bengals team that had weapons. And the Bengals offense had been scoring 30 points per game their last three. So good defense, good defensive output overall, and just happy with that performance. And can't forget about special teams. I mean, as bad as they were against Dallas, that made that game really close and competitive, they were excellent against the Bengals overall. Whether you're talking Chris Boswell, who did a great job as a kicker in some very windy conditions early. I mean, he has not missed a field goal all season. I'll knock on wood because I know I just jinxed it. I meant to tell myself not to say that so you guys don't yell at me, but Boswell's been excellent. Barry feels like a whole new Jordan Barry. He's been phenomenal as a punter with his net and hang time and some of the inside the 20 type stuff. Obviously, Ola Daney getting a forced fumble after the Steelers punt on the initial drive of the game. Daney's not playing a lot on defense right now. Alex Highsmith has overtaken him as the number three outside linebacker, but he's making some big splash plays on special teams. Ray McLeod, almost another punt return touchdown, had an almost return earlier this year, and now then had the one today, which was excellent. So you're getting really a boost across the board. I mean, a couple minor things, the fake punt. Disappointed to give that up. I thought Canada's snaps weren't very good. Was that wind aided or wind troubled? Maybe, but probably not. But overall, I thought special teams was excellent today. Coverage units were strong. Jordan Dangerfield, another tackle. So just a really complete game in terms of offense, defense, special teams. A lot of positive to say about all three aspects. So to wrap things up, again, I mean, you expected to beat the Bengals. I thought this one might be closer than obviously what it was because I thought the Bengals were better than what their record indicated. But just you win on possession downs, you take care of the football, you create some splash yourself. I mean, those are all kind of the hallmarks of how you win pretty comfortably. So nice to have one of those games where you're not freaking out the last 5 minutes of the game. Pittsburgh will play Jacksonville next week for a 1 o'clock game on Sunday, and we'll try to go to 10-0 against the Jags. Of course, the Steelers will be favored. We'll see if Jake Luton is playing for the Jags or if it'll go back to Minshew. I'm not quite sure the situation there, but we'll cover that later in the week. So, without further ado, let me know your thoughts on the game below. Your thoughts on the good, the bad, the ugly. A lot of good in this one, of course, but still have some things to work on. Correct, and we'll cover all that throughout the week. Be sure to check out the Monday live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Dave Bryan and myself talking with you guys for an hour from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.